العدالة الجنائية ومكانتها في صون السلم العام وحماية المجتمع، وكذا كونه تجسيدا حيا لنهج سياسي قائم على الانحياز المطلق لدولة القانون وحماية الحقوق والحريات، فضلا عن تأييد المجلس في بيانه على أن اعتراض فخامة السيد الرئيس يمثل إعلاء لقيمة الحوار بين المؤسسات. كما أود أن أشير إلى أن اجتماع
opening session, the Parliament Speaker, Councillor, the opening session that was held yesterday witnessed allegiance and support for the objections to parts of this law, with the presence of the Minister of Justice and allow me to express my appreciation for the role in executing this project of the law and their honesty, surveillance and credibility, putting front the above all is justice before everything, and the supremacy of the law of the people. Allow me personally to express my appreciation for the Minister of Justice, for his wisdom and his professionality with the law and order and his patriotism. And I've seen closely how he has been handling yesterday's opening session with credibility and transparency, and with all the parts of the law, whether he agreed or no. Actually, the meetings of the General Council for this Parliament are all recorded, and it is considered as files that are being kept so that we can get them as reference later on. In yesterday's opening session, I would kindly give you the podium if you have any objection to what was being taken in yesterday's opening session. If you could please, Minister of Justice, reflect what do you think of yesterday's opening session. Thank you so much. The negotiations yesterday in the session was unprecedented, very respectable and high quality. The draft criminal procedures law is just like any other law, is prone to objections from step 1 to the last step, from A to Z. And the consideration to discuss the chambers of this law is very important, so that we can get to the core of any problems or any objections that could come to the chambers of this law, which are 8. Among them is 1 that consists of 522 chambers. His Excellency, the President, was keen on sharing his views with the respectable session and respectable members of the Parliament to express his right to object to some parts of this law, and ordered so that we could discuss the charters and chambers again. I confirm that the Ministry of Justice is not objecting at all or commenting over the objections that came to the charts of this law. And as we have learned from you, that decision in legislative subjects like that is prone to the sharing negotiations between the judge and members of parliament and those who are in charge. The same thing goes in the court. And the judge in this case would have to study the case well, and in the early morning he would give or deliver his sentence. I confirm truly we have full respect to other people's opinions and vision concerning the charters that are objected by members, and of course according to directives of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. I've delivered it or sent it to the office of the Prime Minister. And in this note that we received in the Ministry of Justice or the Cabinet is being delivered with transparency to be discussed by the members of Parliament. A question to you, Minister of Justice. Have you reviewed yourself once again and considered again your opinion regarding some in the General Council? Yes, I did. I remind Your Excellency that Parliament work is totally different from ministerial work. The General Council is the biggest one, or the General Committee. The Supreme Committee is the biggest one, and where everything is registered in its notes. And in the Parliament, what you say or what you think is registered, and then you express yourself talking. Let's give the podium to one of the members of the Parliament. In the name of God. Your Excellency, Speaker of the Parliament, Dr. Hanif al-Gibali, Your Excellency, members of the Parliament, actually the lawyer syndicate is very keen on sharing, having its share in discussing the charts of this law in this Parliament, and according to his law and the Constitution, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi have made it to register his objection to the charts of some of the charts of this law, the draft criminal procedures law. And we support what President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi have expressed and delivered to the Parliament. What he has done reflects his complete consideration and keenness on the rights, on human rights, and the rights of society to secure a decent life and safe, fair justice when it comes to different cases. We are talking about this law that constitutes of 522 charts or chambers. We totally understand that you as a parliament have exhausted a lot of effort to be able to bring this law, the draft criminal procedures law, to light. We totally appreciate that and understand it. But in order to reach to a fair and a complete and a perfect law, we have to register our objections, and we would appreciate that you consider some time until you bring it to light and do a full ratification of the law. We should be taking our time and minding also the stress over emergency cases, undertaking it as an umbrella to be able to violate human rights and invade houses in the unsocial times without any warrants, which is also violating human privacy. And there are alternatives also to these procedures, and also to temporary holds of people or suspects also. We should be studying that. Also, we should mind that liberty should not be restrained just like this. It should be, but with legislations and with the surveillance and approval of the Minister of Justice and Minister of Justice and those in charge. We earlier before, we have drawn the attention to discuss the charters of this law before the President have issued his directives to be able to discuss it once again. That's why you appreciate it on part of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. There is a controversy between two different chambers or charters. A clear objection of Charter 146 or 164 rather, one part of this chart is banning the attendance of the lawyer of a defendant or a criminal at the same time, which is one of the basic rights for each of them. This was mentioned in the Constitution of 2014, and we should take heed to rights like this. Also the third part of Chart 154. Everybody has the right to attend or be presented in front of the court, accompanied or escorted by his lawyer. And this is one of the basic human rights. Right. Also, the part 105 in the chart, and it's also important for the lawyer to accompany everybody, I mean, who has a case in court, should be attending with his lawyer, so that his whole files would be in the possession of the lawyer, in fear of sparing or losing some of the facts that are in the content of his file that is being presented to the court. I'm talking all this because I'm really keen as a lawyer to confirm and affirm the complete justice of court and respect for human rights and transparency of holding or dealing with different court cases, respecting part 154 that total respect of respecting human rights while allowing lawyers to be attending with people who have court cases in court. My total respect also for the head of state, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, who have allowed us to be present here and express our opinions and also voice what we think in order to reach to a fair and even and perfect draft criminal procedures law. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dean of the Lawyers Syndicate. I mind you, Your Excellency members, that all the objections should be pointed out to what came in the content of the report of the General Committee. I start with Member Ibrahim al-Hinidi. If you could come to the podium and express your voice, please. In the name of God. I affirm that the draft criminal procedures law is a constitution for rights and freedom. It also orchestrates and regulates all the procedures, the legislative procedures from A to Z. It has taken a lot of effort from the Parliament and its members. I would also like to withdraw the attention that the Legislative Committee and the Human Rights Committee, when they presented the draft, they did a lot of negotiations and have shared with everyone in charge, considering every part of this law, and also was keen on answering all the questions concerning all the gaps and all the suggestions and all the criticism, building criticism, positive one, and opened its arms to all suggestions and all considerations to changes in this law. Which also, and as a result, the Lawyers Syndicate also, as a result of all that, all these procedures that were taken, they supported the draft themselves. Also, the Journalist Syndicate also have expressed its support to this draft. Earlier, the journalist syndicates have also objected to the part that is talking about freedom of speech of journalism and media. And immediately the High Committee have then answered, then agreed with the syndicate of the journalism syndicate to all its reservations. And all this proves that there is a keen interest in protecting the general freedom of society and institutions and freedom of speech and freedom of the citizens and everybody. Today we are here doing a take-two negotiation order to be able to provide a comprehensive and a transparent way to preserve the rights of the citizens and institutions. Member Amr Darwish, if you'd like to come to the podium, thank you so much. Actually, the report that came that comprise the negotiations of the General Committee. And at this point, let me first express my utmost gratitude to His Excellency Abdel Fattah al-Sisi for allowing us all to again give us the speech and give us the freedom to hold negotiations freely and express what we think, and give all parts and all fronts the share to be able to express what they think of this draft and their reservations also. Thank you so much, Mr. President. In the name of myself and my counterparts, we call for the session to be able to confirm this draft, and I also I express my gratitude to Councillor Mahmoud Fawzi. Member Ala Abid, if you could come also to the podium. Actually, I express my utmost gratitude for this very for the successful opening session yesterday that have comprised all negotiations and all the objections, the reservations, on top of them those of the President. And from where I stand here, let me express my appreciation for giving us the opportunity from the Parliament to give us the opportunity to discuss the law number 150, which is a very important, critical one, and give us the opportunity to renegotiate parts of it again. And I also appreciate President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi allowing whoever had a reservation, even he himself had his reservations, and allowing everybody to express his freedom of speech. Total respect to you, Mr. President. And also all the respect to Minister of Justice, who have affirmed and confirmed his considering his views once again and reviewing what he thinks and correcting it. I affirm that everybody here, opposition, members of parliament, journalist syndicate, also lawyer syndicate, everybody was on the side of human rights and freedom of speech and the best interest of the Egyptian citizen. It's very important that anybody should not be present in front of the court without his lawyer. This is one of the basic rights. Anybody who is presented before the court should be accompanied by his lawyer according to human rights and the Constitution. This is how things work in the court. Otherwise, this is going to be void. Actually, the keenness of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi focusing on that part reflects his appreciation and respect to human rights, and also supporting and siding with the rights of the Egyptian citizen, insisting that everybody who has a courting case should be accompanied by a lawyer and should have a right to do so. Member Ahmed Segin. Thank you, Your Excellency. Actually, let me go to the point. I would like to handle the administrative and political part, taking a comprehensive look over this issue. First of all, in full appreciation to His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and the Egyptian administration for using its constitutional rights to express its reservation to the legislating of the criminal procedures law, which is a very critical one. And his chambers and charts should be really fit and qualified to be taken and being exercised in court. I thank you, Your Excellency, also for your subjectiveness and also the government also for their transparency. I was really proud yesterday to be part of this opening session. I'm also a proud member of this parliament. This parliament that is handling sessions as critical as it is, as this one is, tackling it with transparency and putting front the general interest and the nation's interest before anything else. Also, respect to the Minister of Justice who have corrected himself from a point that he has delivered yesterday. All the respect to him. Also, an important point is that there is it's impossible to be able to affirm the emergencies, and this is one critical point of the draft law. Another point is the difficulty to putting alternatives, new alternatives, in the case of if there is not enough information in one of the cases, and that's why there could be that's why sometimes there is an expansion in holding someone in jail, which is also critical. And I just wonder, why is the media taking it that sensitively and with
اولا علمه الغزير وقدرته على التناول بموضوعيه، وحتى انا نصحت معه بالامس وقلت له يعني لازم تفتح مكتب محاماه سوف تكون من الاثرياء يعني. فيعني وكان الجلسه جلسه ثريه.
The session was really full of information, and the people exchanging their views in such an subjective way. And with transparency, with credibility. I just really hope that we continue to take it the same way until we reach a final good working draft. Member Ayman Abu Layla. In the name of God, thank you, Your Excellency. I express my gratitude. I express my gratitude to Councillor Ahmed Saad that report that was taken. This law is very important. It's a second constitution for Egypt. And we also appreciate the reservation of His Excellency, the Head of State President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. And there is no sensitivity in this. It's all open to the public opinion and open to the people, and what is supposed to be put at front is human rights and the rights of the citizens and the rights of our nation. As I am heading the Committee of Reformation and Development in the Parliament, I would say that one of the charters talks, I object, and one of those charters, after the law is ratified and issued, I object to the people who are waiting for this draft, I wanted to express my opinion that there are some people who are really waiting eagerly for this law to be ratified and come to light. We were very proud because there are some poor people, some stranded people inside the jails, and some stranded people with emergency cases who are waiting eagerly for this even law to come to light, in order so that they could achieve some right and some justice, to be able to readdress their cases again in court. I don't see any reason for bringing this law or this draft criminal procedures law to light. On the contrary, I would see that it should come to light and it should be ratified. Another thing, chart number 105 and its relevance to 164. It's very important that anybody who is presented to court or before prosecution should be accompanied by his lawyer, and this is the way it works worldwide. If we want to change, we could change in the chart 64, but not 105. The third point is the emergency hold and the procedures that are taken when someone is being held by prosecution or by police forces in case he is convicted of a crime. I'm talking about the procedures and the rules of holding this, mobilizing this suspect. Let me call him suspect until he goes to court. Minding that there should be a necessity that this suspect or this person who is convicted with a crime should be taken with some regulations that respect the rights of this human being, and according to the regulations of the Constitution and human rights. And I object also to the Minister of Justice I object to the Minister of Justice correcting himself. I would like to inquire what were what were exactly the reasons that drove you or forced you to be able to correct yourself once again or change what you said yesterday in the opening session yesterday. Member Amira Abu Shukr, Member Muhammad Abu Hamila.
شكرا سيادة الرئيس. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
In the name of God.
الحقيقة في البداية بتقدم لسيادتك الحقيقة بكل شكر.
I express my utmost gratitude to your panel for the successful and fruitful negotiations and engagements that took place in the opening session yesterday in the Parliament. And the people in charge who attended, on top of them is Minister of Justice, of course. Actually, the criminal procedures laws are very important, vital law, because it comes to the interest of any citizen or any one of us, because we are all prone to be able to use this law or go by the rules of this law, and that's why we have to study it carefully and reconsider its shards once again and rethink and proofread it again. And that's what President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi have called for the Parliament to do. Actually, the President have expressed his appreciation to some of the parts of this law and objected to the rest of some of the other parts of it. The Egyptian administration and President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi have expressed his appreciation and have hailed some shards of this law. Actually, this law consists of 546 shards or chambers. The President have objected to 8 of them. That does not lessen that law by any means, but and actually the reservation of the President was in its place, as some of these shards needs reconsideration again and needs proofreading, needs to be deleted, needs to be added, and that's why we have to reconsider again. And also the fact that Minister of Justice is expressing a different opinion other than what he said yesterday is transparency on the side of the Minister of Justice. All the respect to the Minister of Justice, because he had the courage to admit it. So let's not take it sensitively, and let's take things with transparency, because this is a law that is going to be valid for more than 50 years. The past one has been on for more than 75 years. That's why to have to study this law carefully, as it's going to last forever. We're not going to issue a law every day. The 7 or 8 charts reserved, taken into reservation or objected by the President should be reviewed once again, should be reconsidered. Because once we do so, we are going to give more opportunity to provide more safety, more freedom, more confirmation of expressing his legal rights to every Egyptian citizen. I suggest that according to our norms, to form another committee to ratify those 8 charts that were objected by the President. Member Muhammad Abdel Menem, Your Excellency. The draft criminal procedures law is the core of and the veins of justice for law, and the core of human rights, and the one that executes the Constitution, the 2014 Constitution, and that make every part of the Constitution reality in our life. And from the fact and the importance of this law, we are present here, all sectors of society, different institutions, governmental, parliamentary, ministerial, and everybody. First of all, let me also appreciate the efforts taken and the step taken by the President to express his concern in exercising human rights, considering human rights while ratifying this law. This law came before with more of 300 corrections to its charts. This has made a lot of misunderstanding, misconception, and there were some opposition to those amendments that were taken to those 300 charts that were subject of the amendments. But throughout all the journey, we were minding that constitutional is the first and firmest direction that we should be following. Let me take chart number 105. There's a lot of controversy between 64 and 105, like my colleague said, but we really don't want to admit it seriously that we really need to change in the chart 105, even if there is some controversy with chart 54. And this is what caused some chaos in the legislative committee. But however, we have agreed, all of us, that the Constitution is the base and the core of all our procedures. Then we said we're not going to be amending chart number 64, we're going to do that on 105. But my question to you now is, my question to you is that did you address the President or inform the President that we want to amend this part of the law seriously, and did you consider it seriously to inform the President that we want to amend the chart number 105, and that also we were considering the procedures of emergency holds of suspects and criminals while being taken to courts or transferred from one place to another. Also, another point is chart number 6. Actually, we don't have there is not enough time for us to be able to come with the amendments in such a little time and make it ready to be used. There is also chart number 5. And that we should be taking the old-fashioned way to be able to inform suspects or criminals or people who are supposed to present it before the prosecution instead of making that digitally. And let me tell you that the main reason that we wanted to amend is that we wanted to bring some changes to we wanted to bring changes to effect the exact parts of the emergency law and temporary holds of suspects. Also talking about the issuing of this law, was the government informed that with our desire to effect amendments to the issuing of the law? Was the government informed? Thank you so much.
شكرا يا ريس. يعني بكل كده
In the name of God,
دايما لما كنا بنيجي نبص على قانون الاجراءات الجنائيه
let me tell you that whenever we were taking a look over this law, we were first taking a comprehensive look over how it was handled from the very first beginning, and going through the different committees that were held, and we were tracking all the courses of its handling. We were very satisfied with the way it was handled, and we just wished that it could continue like that until it comes to light. And we were really surprised to receive the news that again there were reservations that some parts or some shards of this law need amendments. This was a surprise to us because we spent a lot of effort trying to bring this law to light. Maybe those amendments were also considering the procedures taken by the government and the parts that address the freedom of the people who are transferred to courts or taken to police departments, and also the execution of the law itself, the way it is executed. Also, maybe this is what called for the amendment of this law. But then we didn't find any mistake in any of these. Then where do you, I can't see any reason why this law has to be amended again. At the end of the day, the government has full responsibility for issuing this law and executing it. I just hope at the end that it would come to the satisfaction of the Egyptian citizen and would answer their needs for freedom and for justice, handling their cases in court. Yes, of course, some shards needed some amendments, and I don't mind that. I also understand that there should be some other shards added or some points added or replace some other points, and this was also addressed by the Minister of Justice. My second point is that if there is anything that comes, any controversy that happens, we're going to listen to the commentation of the Minister of Justice. But we all agree on the need for respect to human justice and freedom of speech and the freedom of Egyptian citizens and even the criminals and suspects who are handling their cases in court. Member Ahmed Farghad. Yes, this Parliament have done taken all its efforts to issue or ratify a law that has been stranded since 2017. And we have been sharing this process with many institutions like my colleagues just mentioned. Let me draw to your attention something that what was handled yesterday. Suggestions that this law has to be a little bit put aside for maybe a year or a year and a half, or postponed some while, so that we could be look again over the foundation of this law with transparency. Also, there were some excuses, other excuses that were put on the table for this law to be postponed. Now, there are some things that we haven't been discussing. that needed to be discussed for this law to be issued, which is the funding, the financial funding for this law. We're very busy discussing, postponing this law, discussing the amendments of some of its charges, but nobody from the government have addressed the financial funding and creating a budget for executing this law. Also talking about the very popular chart 105 and chart 64 and the contradiction between them. I just hope that there should be a full agreement between all parties, especially different government institutions, and also there should be a transparency for the seriousness of the sectors of the government to be able to bring this law to light. I reflect my gratitude to you, Mr. Your Excellency, Speaker of the Parliament. It was yesterday's opening session was totally fruitful and informative, and I really hold full appreciation to the session and to the members. Thank you, Mr. Speaker of the Parliament. I would start by reflecting my utmost gratitude for the President that have used his constitutional rights to be able to preserve the rights of the citizens and preserve the freedoms of even suspects and the people who are transferred from one court to the other, and those who are handled inside, all the cases that are handled. While discussing amending the charts, while discussing changes in this law, there were different people sharing in this process, different institutions, and also the Constitutional Legislative Committee inside the Parliament also have spared a lot of effort in order to bring this law to light. We do not object to what President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi have put into change in terms of reconsidering this law. I do not object at all. But in some charts, I do not see any reason for amendment. But considering the part that regulates publishing, the press rights to publish facts or publish news. And also the application, putting the application and forming this application to be valid for usage by the citizens, by institutions, and also Parliament Mustafa Bakri. Actually, the amendments that were sent, the 8 charts that were sent by His Excellency the President were completely reasonable and fit and goes with the principles of human rights, and also giving the Parliament the opportunity to open new horizons of the rights of suspects and emergency cases, and chart number 105, and all these procedures are part and parcel of the 2030 political vision and come to the best interests of the nation and its citizens. And I do not blame the Minister of Justice for admitting that he have changed his mind or made a change in his decisions. He has admitted that today with transparency and openly and courageously. He was talking from a legal perspective. The changes that were effective were not based only on legislative and constitutional base, but also politically. And that's why when the Minister of Justice changes he has changed his opinion politically, but not legally or from a legislative perspective. We have a constitution that is providing rights for everybody, but the changes comes as a reaction to a modern, moderate, developed political vision. And it's very aware from the government to postpone it until it is put to a right way, as it becomes completely digitalized, to come to the citizens to use it. Also, the procedures to ban people from traveling in emergency cases. And this is one of the other very important points that also needs reconsidering. I can also add a hold to the people's bank's accounts. This could also be added to the procedure. There is no wrong in doing this. Also, people entering, inspecting or bringing people or suspects or criminals out of their hideouts without warrants. We should be considering also this, because sometimes you have to take a step like that unless when you have a critical case, when you have a dangerous person, where you have a terrorist that is inside this house and needs to, and when you have people calling for help, then you have to interfere. Then you have to enter and get this criminal out of his hideout, probably without a warranty. But in general, you should have a warranty. And from my point of view, we should agree to all the amendments that were suggested by the President. But not only agreeing to 3 of them. We should be amending the 7 of them, almost the 8 of them. And I ask for the same thing to be done from the members of this Parliament. The President only takes respecting human rights of citizens, providing more freedom to people who are handled inside courts, and also the rights to be accompanied by their lawyers, and also protecting the privacy of families and their homes. These are full rights should be provided by Constitution, and the President is fully right when he calls for these amendments. Dear members of Parliament, I guess we should all reflect our gratitude to our President for using his constitutional rights and constitutional means within his hands to be able to object to some of the charts of this court that would restrict the rights of the suspects, restrict the rights of the citizens, restrict all those people who have court cases to be handled inside courts or before the prosecution. All these amendments that were provided by the President were constitutional rights that were used made use by the President of the state, all for the sake of our nation and the citizens, and supposed to be received with respect from the members of Parliament, and also should be respected by the Minister Minister of Justice. Also, Member Jiaddin Dawood, if you'd like to say a word. It's very obvious that we still have more time to be able to continue our constitutional mission. We should not make it with stress. According to the item 123 from the Constitution, the Parliament is supposed to exercise its rights and its power from the Constitution. And it's very understanding that should be feuding to be able to bring the best out of this law. But what really irritates me is, or annoys me, is that I attended both parts of the legislation, and I shared in the project of amending or bringing this draft law to light. I shared in putting its parts, and it was one of our missions to use the constitutional text, legal text, into guarantees or other texts that would guarantee real life freedoms and rights to citizens and the nation. There were some hurdles, of course, and some difficulties, as there were transitional governments while we were doing this law. So actually we are before a new institution that have survived 2 or 3 ministries. And that's why there were some difficulties while trying to put all this together in order to bring one unified law that survived 3 ministers. One unified law. We've been working on this law for 28 months, which is 2 years and 4 months. We were, for 2 years and a half, we were working on this criminal procedures law. The committees that we formed had many specialities from all walks of life and from all governments. For almost 8 or 9 hours, we used to sit to be able to address all the difficulties and parts of this law. We have called every government and every people in charge to be able to address the changes with us and attend with us and negotiate is part of experience so that you can add to this law. We almost had all ministries attending with us while trying to work on this draft. Ministries that are related to the issue or not related, but all ministries of the government attended with us. They were there sharing and expressing their voices. And we confirmed that بدعواه للمثول امام قضيه الطبيعي. انا بدي مثال لواقعه واحده كيف فكرنا فيها امام الحكومه الى ان وصلنا للصياغات التي as we have negotiated a lot each other until we reached to this final treatment concerning all the reservations and charts that you have discussed right now. All the charts and the parts of this law that you are discussing right now, we have negotiated once and twice and more than once and made it sure that it cannot be amended. And we had our reasons for this and why you cannot amend it. It's all recorded and we have registered that in a draft. So after all these negotiations and all these committees and all these institutions attending with us, meeting with us, we have shared in bringing that decision all together. It's not a decision for members of parliament or decision for the Ministry of Justice or any part of the anyone or any institution on its own. It was actually a collaboration between different institutions and different governments also, and of course the members of parliament and politicians and experts, law experts, and lawyers also, and journalists. Everybody shared in the meetings. And we all were targeting guarantees for the correction and perfection of this law. So today I cannot say that I have to wait one more year. I don't imagine that we still have to wait one more year so that we can have to do another amendment. There is no need for that.
بالمادة 105 تحت أي ذريعة لا يجوز، لا يوجد تفسير أو تأويل لنص المادة 54 الفقرة الثالثة تسمح لتحقيق واستجواب للمتهم في غيبة محاميه. أي نص، أي تفسير،
I can also
إن أنا أنحرف عشان أروح أتكئ على المادة 64 المنضبطة.
Actually, I support chart number 64 to chart number 105. So I would prefer chart number 64 to 105, as there were many reasons that were registered inside the report of those committees that we have been holding for 2 years now, and it is all registered. That's why it cannot be amended. In short, I totally respect His Excellency the Head of State exercising constitutional rights to be able to guarantee the fulfillment of human rights and freedoms of speech and guarantees of safety of suspects held in courts. And as we are away 48 hours from the parliamentary elections, I totally respect that from the Head of State, trying his utmost effort to guarantee the rights and full freedom of the citizens and also safety of the suspects. Member of Parliament Ahmed Khalil Khairallah. In the new sciences of nations of administrations that run countries, there are sciences and parts and techniques that study ways of running nations. On top of them is the justice institution, which is the most important. This parliament is very lucky, is lucky to be sharing a committee that was relevant with the Justice Department, which is one of the most important institutions in the country.
التعديلات فيه بتبقى عزيزة جدا جدا جدا. طيب بشكر منظومة الرئاسة
I totally hold gratitude for the presidency, the presidency that cared to look for or put on top or hold special importance for the freedom and the safety of and for human rights and for the citizens. I also thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak, and all those who shared in the opening session yesterday to bring this law to light. Let me just mind you that the criminal procedures law only is consisting of 3 important points. Sometimes people regard this law from their own personal perspective, not a general one. Number 2, people sometimes doesn't have a full vision of how this law should be executed and practiced by the government over a whole country and a nation of 100 and more million people. Actually, I affirm you that there are many institutions that will totally come to a change after this law. Member Ahmed Sharqawi.
شكرا سيادة الرئيس. موقف ثابت من بداية مناقشة قانون الإجراءات الجنائية وكرره النهارده. هذا القانون اللي المجلس بكل لجانه سواء الفرعية أو لجنة
Actually, all the committees, the subcommittees, or the main committees, the Human Rights Committee and Legislative Committee have honestly spared every effort in their hands to be able to bring this law to light. So it's very possible that this law should become perfect. If I could describe it, I could see it as a law that would support all freedoms and safety of the citizens. And actually the Egyptian administration have looked into that law and reviewed it once again and probably found some reservations in that law that might need some reconsideration and correction out of those committees, the legislative committee and the subcommittees. Of course, as you all know, that there are some objections that were recorded by the members and the opposition inside under the parliament. It is all addressing the freedoms of the citizens. Sometimes sometimes there are issues like arresting suspects by the institutions or presence before the prosecution, or transforming a criminal or a suspect from one place to another. Also the publishing of crimes. The reasons for this objection over the charts is that the Minister of Justice is not ready yet digitally to be able to bring a whole digital institution to bring this law to light and provide digital services for the courts with its different, and for the police stations, and for prisons, and for the nation as a whole. Let me go back to January 2024.
تأجيل نفاذ
Also the government asked again, we remember that, let me remind you that the government again asked that this law, that a law should be delayed. So this was repeated before, back in 2024, with the another criminal law.
كليا وأن تؤجل بقرارات تنفيذية تنفيذ بعض الإجراءات زي مثلا استئناف الجنايات اتحدد جلسات للاستئناف الجنايات في الصيف.
And we have been through that before. And there were some restrictions to the other criminal laws that were supposed to be postponed while the law itself was issued.
وينفذ القانون من اليوم التالي. ليه نأجل؟
I don't say a reason why do we have to postpone emergency holding a suspect.
الإنجاز التاريخي للقانون ده
Why should you postpone putting a ban on travel by suspects? There are some vital issues that we're not supposed to wait until we amend.
يعني احنا في ناس بتتكلم عن ان البدائل الحبس الاحتياطي
I'm talking about the alternatives.
مش هنستطيع تطبيقها دلوقتي.
Those alternatives we cannot issue now. We don't have time to be able to amend again.
ده اللي اتعدل بعد 70 سنة او بعد 75 سنة.
We're talking about a law which is the criminal procedures law. A law like that had been working for 75 years. After 75 years it came to an amendment. And this particular law is going to work for another 50 years. This is what I'm saying. It's not supposed to be delayed again.
الاجراء التحفظي يبقى عنده البدائل قدامه تبقى المنظمة بتعليمات النيابة العامة يستخدم هذا او ذاك. يعني لما يبقى يضاف في القانون البدائل المتعددة في للحبس الاحتياطي وبتعليمات النيابة العامة يستخدم الخيار الانسب لحالة جهوزية وزارة العدل لتطبيق ذلك. اذا
Actually, this law,
السيد رئيس الجمهورية
I totally agree with the reservations of the 8 reservations that were mentioned by His Excellency the Head of State President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to be amended is a complete perfect decision that we should take into consideration and we should execute. Actually, chart 105, my own vision of it or perception is that we should not at all again amend.
في اي وضع وفي اي حالة ووفق اي استثناء دون حضور محامي.
Everybody should be presented with a lawyer, and this is a constitutional right. Before police department or prosecution or a court sentence. The presence of a lawyer is very important and vital. Without it, this could be illegal.
امام النيابة العامة وده كان الاصل وما كانش فيه الاستثناء ده. ازاي احنا نرتد الباب للخلف وكأن هذه المادة نشاز داخل منظومة هذا القانون. هذا القانون التقدمي اللي احنا بنوصفه اللي هو تقدمي في هذا الاتجاه لا يجب ان نسيء اليه بوضع مثل هذه القواعد الاستثنائية التي تجيز استجواب المتهم من مأمور القضاء.
With respect to that very important vital law, we should not be violating constitutional rights by putting some excuses for violating those rights. We should not at all allow any excuses. We should have full respect to the Constitution, full respect to the safety of the suspect, the human rights, and we should respect or should make it clear and be keen on executing all the procedures in a legal way. And we should not, and nothing should be exceptionist at all.
يرجع لتقدير مأمور الضبط القضائي فيدخل مسكن ينتهك اهم الحرمات وهي حرمة المسكن. باختصار انا مع.
طب ساعدنا في تحديد حالات الخطر. 1 2 10.
Why don't you help us in specifying the points of danger, or the basis, points of danger that would make it basis for authorities to be able to present a suspect or specify someone as a suspect, or decide if this person is a suspect or no.
ما انتواه المشرع وما قصده المشرع من حالة خطر بجسامة معينة من عدمه. شكرا.
سيادة النائب محمد عبد العزيز، أرجو يعني الاختصار لمراعاة الوقت.
Member Mohammed Abdelaziz.
شكرا سيادة الرئيس. الحقيقة هذه الجلسة التاريخية
Actually, this meeting that is discussing the objectives or the reservations, 8 reservations of President al-Sisi to the criminal procedures law that constitutes more than 550 shards. When we see a law like that, that is a constitution for rights and freedoms, the parliament have exerted all its might and effort with its subcommittees and joint committees and legislative committees, with all the law experts, constitutional experts. We have finally at the end brought a very refined, perfect draft that should come to light.
سيتذكروا التاريخ. ثانيا أننا نقدر بكل تقدير استخدام فخامة السيد الرئيس لحقه الدستوري.
We also appreciate the President exercising his constitutional rights as a President to be able to secure the nation, its freedoms, and the rights also of humans, which comes at the forefront of the Constitution.
وقيمة التشاركية
It's the pinnacle of democracy and patriotism.
مصر العربية وسط إقليم مضطرب ووسط دول تنهار ووسط العدو الصهيوني يتربص بكل من حولنا، بينما مصر في قيادة السيد الرئيس وفي مؤسسات هذه الدولة العريقة في الممارسة الديمقراطية، أنه يحدث بين مؤسساتها هذا الحوار الديمقراطي، ما يؤكد أن هذه دولة راسخة قوية تحقق الدستور.
This all, like I said earlier, and everybody has said, that reflects democracy, reflects the keenness of the Egyptian administration to the rights and the freedoms and the safety of suspects and all the people who are holding or having their cases held in courses. But I can assure you that this law did not violate the Constitution in a single chart. But I can assure you also that the reservations of the President does not come in the form of an objection, but as a form of adding more constitutional rights and more freedoms to this law. We are keen and we are insisting on holding on article number 105 in this law. It's very important. There is no way a suspect that could come to court without his lawyer. We are insisting on this point. Even article number 54 also does not at all contradict with the article number 105. But if we need more clarification to conform the content of this law, all the guarantees that would support all more freedoms and more rights. I was a member in the Committee of Human Rights. I totally agree to more amendments that would provide more human rights and more freedoms, and there should be some alternatives to the emergency holding of some suspects. I totally support that. I also said that in the subcommittee we asked the government to mind some freedoms, to provide some to put some alternatives to the emergency hold of suspects, but the government said that they are not ready now. We are totally part and parcel with the freedoms of the nation and its people. Finally, Your Excellency, it's better that this law be applied immediately after it's issued. There are lots of people who are awaiting it anxiously. There is a lot of guarantees in this law for the emergency law, and issuing a deadline for this emergency also that would make it different, totally different from the first law that was issued in 1950. At a time there was different constitutional life. Now we are living in an era that enjoys more freedoms and more awareness of rights and more openness and transparency. We've exerted every effort. Where was the government then? All these times, 1 year and a half you were working on it. What was the government doing back then? I totally appreciate everybody who has spared every effort to bring the General Committee's report to light, to be able to execute the draft of the Criminal Procedures Law. I totally hope that this huge mega project would come to the best benefit of the nation. Member عاطف المجاوري.
شكرا سيد الرئيس. تحياتي وتقديري لمجلس نوبل للانعقاد السادس او التكميلي، وبالتاكيد ما مر به قانون الاجراءات الجنائيه او
I can confirm you that this draft criminal procedures law, according to my colleagues, that it has exerted almost half of the legislative season of the Parliament, in principle and in articles in our Parliament. It has taken a lot of its time and more than its time and more than its right to be able to bring a perfect law for freedoms and rights or a second constitution to Egypt. But His Excellency the President chose to put some reservations or had some reservations on 8 articles.
مذكرة الرد التي وردت من فخامة السيد الرئيس استخداما لصلاحياته الدستورية إلى مجلسنا وملاحظاته على بعض المواد. لماذا أسرج صدورنا؟ لأن هذه المواد
It was our pleasure to receive his reservation for 8 articles or charts. Why? Because we were in controversy with some of the, or we were in debate rather, over some of the articles. Actually the people, and that does not lessen make it any less of this law, but on the same time it is going to conform or confirm its efficiency, but and also as a keenness on the President's part to allow a full constitutional preserved version of this law.
التشاركي يدير هذا الوطن ويحقق له الامن والاستقرار والرياده باذن الله تعالى. سيد الرئيس، وعلى قاعده ما تفضل به معالي المستشار وزير العدل وقال ان القاضي يمكن ان يكون قناعات لكن مع سواد الليل ثاني يوم ممكن ان يغير هذه القناعات.
Those reservations were addressed by the Minister of Justice.
وقيادة حزب التجمع إننا إذا كان تقرير اللجنة
the report of this committee is going to reflect what happened inside the committee, we are going to object to it because we are siding with the objections of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. And that's why in general there was an objection to the procedures.
فسيصدر القانون بدون عرض على السيد فخامة رئيس الجمهورية، ولكن لكون التقرير الآن تضمن الموافقة على اعتراضات السيد رئيس الجمهورية.
But now the report have agreed with the reservations of His Excellency the President, and we have agreed to form another committee to reconsider again the 8 articles. And according to the Constitution, we're going to reconsider again, reviewing it, and
بالمواد التي اعترض عليها. لذا سيد الرئيس نوصي أن تكون مهمة اللجنة الخاصة ليس صياغة المواد التي وردت في اعتراضات السيد الرئيس فقط، ولكن يجب تناول كافة المواد ذات الصلة وإعادة الأمر من منطقة التشاركية وموقف.
شكرا، أطلت جدا وبتكرر الرد. سيادة النائب، لم يرد في رد سيادة رئيس الجمهورية أي انتقاص لمجهود المجلس، بالعكس انت قلت في انتقاص. اشاد السيد رئيس الجمهورية بمجهودكم الرائع، فنشكر سيادة رئيس الجمهورية على هذه الاشادة. بعد ذلك سيادة النائب إيهاب الطماوي.
Member إيهاب الطماوي.
اللي بيقولوا في الاول يعيدوا في الاخر، ارجو اعطاء الفرصة للبقية.
I hope that you cut it short, hopefully, and make it to the point. I express my gratitude to the General Committee for this historical report, which is going to be an agenda, an important agenda for all law experts to study whenever they need some to preview some articles of the law concerning the reservations of the President. The 8 some reservations in the 8 articles. 7 actually 7 from 564 articles. I consider this as an appreciation from the Egyptian administration to the efforts that we exerted in this draft law. not at all lessening of this law, but an appreciation on the president's side.
بحقوقهم وحرياتهم العامة. دي النقطة الثانية. النقطة الثالثة
My third point is
خطاب مؤسسة الرئاسة
the address of the presidency and the report taken by the parliament confirms that Egypt is affirming the respecting different institutions and specialities, and that Egypt is a country of institutions, with all the respect to the constitution and the freedoms and the rights of people.
علشان ما حدش يقول اصلي كانوا بيشكروا في القانون دلوقتي في ناس بتهاجموا وبيتراجعوا عن رايهم، لا. في كل مره تحدثت فيها وانا بشرف اني كنت رئيس اللجنه الفرعيه لاعداد ودراسه وصياغه مشروع قانون الاجراءات الجنائيه ووكيل لجنه الشؤون الدستوريه والتشريعيه كنت
I shared in the committee, legislative and constitutional committee. I was myself a member of this committee. There is a whole lot of difference between its different articles.
وبالتالي التعديل. فمجلس النواب حريص بكل اعضائه على الاستجابه لملاحظات السيد الرئيس.
The parliament is very keen on reacting and taking heed to the reservations of the president, as it is very important. Who have never given his back or deny the rights of people, a chance to preserve the rights of people or the freedoms of the people of Egypt.
شكرا سيادة النائب عبد الهادي القصبي.
Member Abdul Hadi Al-Qasabi.
شكرا سيادة الرئيس. تأذن لي سيادة الرئيس بهدوء شديد، وقد استمحت إلى متحدثين وأقلام تناولت هذا الموضوع، منهم من تحدث بإيجابية ومنهم من تحدث بسلبية ومنهم من أراد أن ينقذ للدولة المصرية. وهنا نقول بهدوء شديد وبثقة في الدولة المصرية من مجلس النواب المصري، أود أن أؤكد على عدة حقائق.
I would like to confirm several facts. The first one is
أنني أحتز بالدولة المصرية.
I totally respect the Egyptian state that works hard on preserving the rights of nations at a time those rights are being violated and robbed, like the people in Gaza and other countries. Egypt is totally against denying people out of the rights. On the contrary, it's preserving the rights. Also here from the parliament, from where I stand, I totally appreciate the Egyptian administration that is topped by His Excellency, the Head of State President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, who have only exercised his right of the Article 102, according to the right of Article that was taken in the Article 123 in the Constitution, to preserve the rights of the citizens and their freedoms. And I also affirm my belonging to this Parliament, who have spared all efforts in a law, a very complicated law that has been there for 75 years, and for a year and a half now we've been sparing every effort to bring it to light and amend it to its best version. 552 articles of this law, a great effort. And also the President's right, legal right to object the articles, almost 8 articles. Among them is the article of issuing of this law. It is the Egyptian state that combines all its authorities and its mights to bring to the citizens and the country and its institutions the best laws that are issued according to the Constitution, and putting to the front, topping them is the rights of citizens. And let me tell you that our main concern was the same concern as the President, though that we agree to the reservations of President Al-Sisi. We totally agree with His Excellency. I totally express my gratitude to your wisdom and your fair and open policy and democratic one. It's the Egyptian parliament and the Egyptian state and the Egyptian president. It's only one entity under the new Republic of Egypt. All the gratitude to President Al-Sisi and the Speaker of the Parliament. Thank you, sir. Minister of Justice, please. In the name of God. Yesterday, you have stated the principle in the beginning of the session that you put it. You inquired if the objection is to the only 8 articles or other articles. The answer from the session was only for the articles under objection, 8 articles. You said that, and this is all recorded, and I totally agree with this. But you then asked me today a question that the question if I changed my mind about what I said yesterday in the opening session. I said yes. I said I prepared a note that I brought it to the cabinet. I just enclosed what I thought of yesterday, and I added if I am keen of what I said, or I confirmed what I said yesterday, but I also confirmed in that note I confirmed all what I have said yesterday. All what I confirmed as a Minister of Justice and an expert of law, I totally confirm what I've said yesterday. But what I meant today is that I meant that I object to the reservations that were raised by the President.
الذي بنى عليه اعتراض السيد رئيس الجمهورية والمعروض على كل حضراتكم.
What I've said yesterday is the same reason why the President have sent us his reservations. I mean, what I've said yesterday is the same reservations or confirms the reservations of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi.
وقلت في شأن الرأي والرأي الآخر فيما يتعلق بالإضافة وهقول لك ظروفها ببساطة.
وأنا أقدر سيادتك كقاضي جليل.
And I totally appreciate you, what you said yesterday.
الواردة في المشروع كافية.
سأأتي.
لماذا تراجعت عنها في المذكرة؟
مع الباشا.
Your Excellency, Minister of Justice, you yesterday said that you agree to the alternatives of the emergency law, and are efficient and enough. Yesterday you stated so, but today you changed your mind. Why did you do so? Let me explain to you. You have to answer my question. If you have to state what are the alternatives to the emergency law or the emergency holding of suspects. You said that it is efficient.
للمنع للسفر. قيل انها الاسئله الالكترونيه فقلت انها قد سبق عرضها ورفضت، لذلك وجهت سيادتك سؤالا الى مندوب الداخليه فاعتذر عن الرد. قلت ايضا في شان التوقيع صباحا ومساء في مركز.
I've stated what I've said before and I'm going to repeat it again.
قررت صراحة وبعنف أن بدائل الحبس الاحتياطي في المشروع كافية.
You said that the alternatives of the emergency hold of suspects are enough. Why did you change your mind now? You said at the beginning of this session that you have changed your mind. Now you said you did not. But I said I did not admit all of it.
بدائل الحبس الاحتياطي كان له مبررها بعد الدراسة. جلسنا طويلا نتدارس كل بديل من البدائل دي وأضفته. المادة الثانية المتعلقة بالمادة 105.
Mentioning the Article 105 also, a controversy between 105 and Article 64. There is a controversy, but I stick to Article 105. I insisted on holding to Article 105 and I explained why.
نظرية الضرورة الإجرائية وهي معمول بها وأخذ بها مشروع القانون في عدة مواضع، فقلت وضربت مثالا لذلك. ماذا لو اتهم
سيادة الوزير، أرجو عدم ضرب أمثلة والتطرق لأمور. سيادة الوزير
Please cut it short, Minister of Justice.
سيادتك تراجعت وسجلت.
If you can answer my question kindly, did you change your mind or no? I just need, I need no explanation. I want you to cut it short. You said that it's impossible to classify and have a definite number of the dangerous cases. You said it's impossible to have a definite number of the dangerous cases.
وضربت فيه الاستغاثة، ما هذا موجود في المنطقة، الاستغاثة او الخطر بالخارج مثل لا الاستغاثة لغاية الداخل وتخلوها مطلقة.
يا سيادة الوزير نعم. خلينا في الخطر مش في الاستغاثة.
نعم.
انا اريد تركيز السادة النواب معنا.
نعم.
سيادتك في الخطر لا
نعم
ما تدخلنيش على الاستغاثة.
نعم.
سيادتك في الخطر ضربت بايدك وقلت يستحيل تحديد حالات الخطر.
In this specific case, you were definite, and I do remember that you affirmed surely that it could be impossible to have a definite number of the dangerous cases. But I said this has to be taken to the general prosecution. I didn't give a definite answer. I said that the prosecution should have a say in that.
أرجو الاختصار. أنا بقيلي دقيقة لسيادتك.
طب هقول لحضرتك
دقيقة بس.
أنا مصر الآن على التأكيد على الاعتراضات التي وردت من السيد رئيس الجمهورية والأسباب التي بني عليها.
I totally agree with the reservations of the 8 articles that came by His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, and I stick to it also. I support it entirely 100%.
هناك اعتراض كامل على كل ما جاء في الاعتراضات.
سيادتك بالأمس وافقت على ما ورد في الاعتراض في المواد التالية: المادة السادسة إصدار، المادة 105.
You have confirmed. I will have to end it here with you, Minister of Justice. If you agree to sum up this meeting, you have to raise your hands. Agree. Dear members of Parliament, the Parliament have affirmed the reservation and objection of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, and according to the Article 187, I suggest that you form a special committee under the chairmanship of Councillor Ahmed Saaduddin. And now you call the members, and you can call the members of this committee. You have to name them. Confirming a special committee to amend the articles of the draft law. Councillor Ahmed Saaduddin, the chairman of this special. Member Ibrahim al-Hinidi. President of the Legislative Committee, Member Ibrahim Tamawi, assistant to the committee. Member Muhammad Abdul Aziz, chairing Human Rights Committee. Member Atif Nasser, member of complaints, Committee of Complaints. Member Ayman Abu Laila, representative of the Parliamentary Committee for Islah wa Tanmiya Party. Member Diauddin Dawood, member Ahmed al-Sharawi, and also sharing this committee without voting, Councillor is Councillor Mahmoud Fawzi, Dean of the Lawyers Syndicate, and Councillor Muhammad Abdul Alim Kafafi of the subcommittee, and also representative of the Supreme Committee of representative of the Interior Ministry, and representative of Ministry of Telecommunication, representative of Human Rights Council, a representative of Cairo University, and Dr. Muhammad Shahata, member of the subcommittee, who has a specialty of Criminal Court. Do you agree to form a special committee with its members that were... Yes, agree. So for this special committee is supposed to be starting its sessions this Saturday at 10 a.m. to be able to review the 8 articles under reservation according to the directives of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. And according to the Article 177, this committee could postpone this committee to an indefinite time and can just state another time and could announce the other members with it. We now end this session. Thank you so much.